You need to be in front of a computer and like ready to run comps right when you're on the phone, figuring things out. So, because like you have just a couple minutes to keep these people's attention and like either get an appointment in person or get a contract down to them.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just from me being around real estate people, but I feel like there's more people that are trying to become wholesalers, and also I see a lot more people trying to like offer like construction services.
Welcome to the Everyday Millionaire Show with Ryan Greenberg and Nick Kalpis.
All right, guys, welcome to another episode of the Everyday Millionaire Show. We're here, just Nick and I, another internal. We have Chase filling in for Marcus. So Chase is also on the mic since we have been doing some business with Chase. What's going on, guys?
What's up? Thanks for filling in, Chase.
What's up? Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, it's a little bullshit light setup we have here compared to what Marcus usually brings, but we did our best. Chase has that light there, and hopefully you guys can see us.
They can see us.
So a couple of cool things that we got going on. I'm tangled up in this wire. Nick just bought a big house. Nobody knew he was buying.
I did. I didn't want to spill the beans until I closed on it because I didn't want to jinx anything. It was a lot of paperwork for the lender to go through. Thank you, everybody at DML who helped out. Billy, Jeff, Kevin, Jamie. They were a big help with getting the loan closed. My tax returns were like 450 documents. So like at settlement, there were like 450 plus documents that I had to flip through and just make sure that I was signing and initialing all of my tax papers as well as the settlement papers as well. So that was exciting to settle on that, and it was a relief to get it done because I was stressing out the whole time.
So just so like people that are listening know, like you've been living in a small condo for like the last several years, right?
Yeah, the last 4.5 years.
Living in a small condo, then I see on Instagram, had no idea, like, you know, we're friends, you don't call me, you don't tell me this. I just see on Instagram a picture of this giant waterfront house that you posted saying like home sweet home. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? You just bought a waterfront property and didn't tell anybody about it?
Yeah, so, I mean, it happened. Got it from the auction. As you guys know, I briefly told you guys about it beforehand, but it was listed for like 1.2 on the market. Then they had a couple price reductions. Eventually, the owner decided to take it to auction, and I monitor the auction websites like a hawk, and I saw it. I'm like, let me check this property out. I went to go see it the day before it went up for auction. Scheduled a showing, saw the property, and I'm like, I really want this house. Like, I need to bid on it. So I started bidding on it, and I'm like, I'm not gonna let somebody outbid me. Like, I wanna buy this. This is a liability. This isn't an asset. So I'll pay a little bit more than whoever else is gonna bid, and and make sure I can secure the property.
Well, I don't think anybody's buying that as an investment property.
Yeah. But I had to take my investment hat off to get to that realization. Like, hey, if I want this property, I'm gonna have to pay for it, and I'm not gonna look at it as an investment because those type of houses, they're more of a liability than asset, but it's definitely something that I've been wanting for a while, and I kind of lived a lot below my means for the last 4.5-5 years now to.
So speaking of living below your means, I was just going to talk about your waterfront condo in Ocean City. Are you bringing your boat here, or are you going to buy another boat?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep one there in Ocean City.
Speaking of living below your means, guys, just make sure that you understand that there's a beachfront condo. There's a now waterfront property, a small other condo. Do you still own the other condo?
Yeah. I might rent that out.
Luckily, you're still living below your means.
So what was cool about the place I lived in, the condo, it's a 2-bedroom condo, nothing fancy. My mortgage was maybe $700 a month, and it was $200 condo fee. So I was under $1,000 a month. It was right across the street from my lot that I rent that has all of my landscaping equipment, dump trucks and trailers. And it was right across the street from where we take Lucia to daycare. So it was literally like a little triangle. Like everything we needed, we'd take Lucia, drop her off, work from home. If I had to go over to the lot for any reason to meet the guys, I can easily go across the street to meet them. So that was a cool thing about that location for so long. But where we're at now, it's not much farther. It's probably, 10, 15-minute drive. So it's not terrible.
Nice. So it's got how many bedrooms?
4 beds, 4 bathrooms.
Nice. And it's got a giant yard.
Very big yard for waterfront. A lot of, when I think of waterfront, I think of like being very close to your neighbors. Because when they build them, they like to build them as close as they can to fit as many waterfront properties as possible. But this thing is like at the point, and the yard is very, very large.
So you got to get another boat.
Yeah.
And probably another jet ski.
Probably. Yep. And a floating jet ski dock.
We'll have to see how long it takes to get my boat up there. Come party.
Yeah.
So, all right. So the numbers you listed at 1.2, and what'd you end up closing at?
It was 9,063. So 906,300 is what I bought it for.
But then did you have a 10% buyer's premium?
10%? No. So it was the final price was 855 plus the 10% buyer's premium took it to 906.
Okay.
Yep.
Not bad. And so this is another crazy thing you did. So you went under contract, you bid, and you put $90,000 as a deposit.
Correct.
Without knowing that you were approved for the loan.
Yeah.
How did that feel?
It just felt like something I needed to get done. Something that I knew I had to, put the pedal to the metal and figure out what needed to be done in order to get the loan. So a lot of people out there listening, when you buy a house, you typically need to be pre-approved first. Well, when you deal with auction properties, anybody can bid on the auction property, whether they're pre-approved or not. And I guess the determining factor on whether or not they're serious is when they have to put that deposit down. In this case, it was a 10% deposit. So the 10% of the 906, it was like $90,630 I had to put down, not knowing that I was pre-approved yet. So I put the deposit. I wired the deposit that same day because you needed to do it within 24 hours. And then I called my lender that I used to buy the condo. I was like, hey, can you run some numbers for me to see if things look good for me? I just got this house under contract, and I have a very large deposit out on it because it was an auction property, and they required 10% down. And he ran some numbers, preliminary numbers, and he's like, yeah, I think you look good. But, them going through all of my tax returns, it was a job. It was a job and a half for them to do all that. And I was definitely very, very nervous until, I got to the closing table. That's why I didn't want to mention anything until it was closed out, because I didn't want anything to go south.
I'll be honest, that's some savage shit you did, man. I would be scared. I would be too scared to do that. So congratulations. It's a sick house. I'm excited for the housewarming party.
Oh yeah.
I won't put your address out there so people don't start showing up, but it'll be a fun party.
It'll be a good time.
Good thing you own a landscaping company too. I saw that yard. I was like, damn, that's going to take so long to mow if you don't have big shit. All right. Next thing I have on my list is our event coming up on April 11th. I started marketing today. I promised myself I would do it like 1 month before and hit it hard. So anybody that's looking to sponsor, April 11th at CVP's in Towson, 6 to 9. It's going to be fun. We got food, drinks, giveaways, all sorts of stuff. If Nick gets drunk enough, maybe he'll start giving out his address for his housewarming party. Who knows?
Yeah, because it'll be
after that, right?
Yeah, it's April 20th.
So ask for the invite. All right, so I know we've been talking about the direct-to-seller stuff. That was one thing that we've been kind of Chase and I, and really just Chase and I right now, have just been kind of hammering in on trying to dial down the system of direct-to-seller. It's hard, man.
Yeah.
Chase has been on the phone with how many people?
Over 50 people.
Just
this
that's
week.
After the cold callers.
Yeah.
So the cold callers give them to Chase, and then he's still got to talk to them for an hour on the phone.
So, like, from an outsider's point of view, and what I mean by outsider for those listening is somebody who, like, I don't wholesale. So, like, the time and energy that it takes, you guys doing this, other wholesalers, that's why, wholesalers want their wholesale fee. That's why they need to make sure that they're able to get a good assignment fee to make up for all of the money that they put out, their time, paying for the list, paying for people to call, the cold callers, virtual assistants. That all adds up.
It does. Yeah, it is. It is adding up because we haven't actually had income yet, any real income. So it's definitely like a grind. And I somebody hit me up the other day, like a client of mine, sort of a friend through another friend. And he was like, hey, man, I'm thinking about getting into this, direct-to-seller stuff. And he's got a full-time job. He's like a hobbyist investor kind of thing. Like, he has a couple properties, and he's trying to get more into it. He's like, I'm going to, hire the cold callers, go to Faisal's list. I'm like, dude, like, you better be ready to grind because like you have a full-time job and like there's no way if you had a full-time job you'd be all able to do what you're doing.
No
now.
shot.
There's no way.
Yeah, no shot. I'm doing this with a full time. It's hard enough for me to keep up now, and I'm just transitioning out of the Air Force. I could not imagine coming home at 5:00 and then making
Right.
5 to 10 calls, and you're on the phone for an hour apiece.
No.
Yeah, and a big important piece of that is the follow up. So like, what happens if a seller calls you during those working hours?
Right.
Right.
And
Yeah, you
you're
got to be
kinda, like,
ready,
screwed.
and you got to be like, and even like Chase was talking about the other day, like you need to be in front of a computer and like ready to run comps right when you're on the phone, figuring things out. So, because like you have just a couple minutes to keep these people's attention and like either get an appointment in person or get a contract out to them, and it's fucking competitive, man. Like the one lady, I don't even know who it was. Chase called on the lead, and she's like, "You're the 5th person that called today." So like all these wholesalers are just hammering the phones on the same leads.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just from me being around real estate people, but I feel like there's more people that are trying to become wholesalers, and also I see a lot more people trying to like offer like construction services.
Well, okay, 2 things. One, the construction services people are people that have been flipping houses and managing crews themselves. And of course, flipping slowed down. Deals are tough to come by. They wanted to keep those crews busy, and they see people making money contracting. There's a bag to be made contracting.
Yeah.
There really is. Like, I'm living proof of it. Like, we did that exact thing in kind of a different order. We did the contracting thing first. Well, not really. We started flip, then we started heavy contracting, doing small amount of flips. Where now the flippers are coming into, they were full-time flippers. Now they're trying to be contractors. But that game is hard, man. That game is also hard. But the direct to seller stuff, like, I think the common like misconception about it is that you can do it with no money down. There's no way you can do and be competitive with no money down. Like Chase is building a website right now. That's going to end up $1,000 or whatever by the time you break it down, and then a couple $100 a month. We got the list that you got to pay for, the cold callers, and now we're looking into hiring internal VAs instead of like a cold calling service. And then Chase is doing a sales training. What's that one called? What are you doing?
Aaron Novell, I think. Yeah.
So some sales guru, he's paying for that. He's doing role play with that, then creating a sales course for our people internally. Like none of that stuff is free. So if you're like out there like, oh, I'm going to start wholesaling and it's no money down, like people think, I feel like people think you just drive around and you see a house that's shitty and you knock on the door and then they sell it to you for very cheap.
I mean, there's like cases where you can find deals without putting money out, but if you want to actually create like a wholesaling business, you certainly need some funds to put into
It's all about
marketing and like you said, you're creating a website and just having that ability to get a good domain name because that's another big thing.
It's the domain name and then the SEO about it. Like, so, Dave, a buddy of ours, Dave Shannon. So I've been hanging out with him a lot down in Florida. And like he spent, I hope he doesn't mind me saying, $25,000 on his website. Like that's a crazy amount of money to spend on a website, but like he's doing great. Like he's doing it. But for somebody to start out and just be dropping $25K on a website, that's a huge risk that you're taking if you don't already have an established business. Like, Dave's been doing this for a long time now. That is just one piece of it. Then you have the VAs, then the cold callers, and like you got to have people on the street too. Like we got to go. Like Chase is going to appointments next week, in person to try to get these either listings, wholesale contracts, whatever. So yeah, I get why these wholesalers are charging what they're charging. It's a pain. I mean, even I have one under contract right now that I'm wholesaling. It didn't come from our VAs or anything. It came from an internal lead, but I'm trying to sell it. I'll make a nice profit on it. But even the dispo of it, like we thought it'd be easy. Like, I'll post it on the group, people will buy it. Like today, I was on the phone with somebody for an hour. TJ. I was back and forth with him. TJ Kane? Yeah. I was back and forth with him, and then another guy. It was like an hour of my day was just eaten up by talking to people. And not that I don't mind, I don't mind it, but that's an hour of my day just talking to them about potentially buying it, answering questions and stuff like that. Like, there's a whole lot that goes into the.
Yeah. So I just sold a property. The reason I sold it was because when I first bought it, it was a foreclosure and it was under contract. I had it under contract for almost a year before it's ratified. And during that period, it was broken into 2 or 3 times. And I was like, man, I don't know if it was like an old contractor who was upset with the previous owner who maybe didn't pay them or something, but they were like break in, took all their stuff out, then they broke in again, stole the whole entire back door off, stole all the kitchen cabinets that were already installed with granite on top of them, and then they stole all the interior doors. And I'm like, somebody's going to come here and do that. It's probably like a contractor that didn't get paid versus like, a junkie just breaking in trying to steal some copper wire or something.
Right.
So finally settled on that, and I it was like 90% done when I bought it, and then it went back to like 85% because of everything they stole. So I got it to 100%. I'm like, man, I want to get out of this neighborhood. I don't want to be in this neighborhood. So I listed it on Facebook Marketplace, and I had 3 people come to look at it, and it wasn't any of them who bought it, but it was another investor that I know who reached out. He's like, hey, I'm interested in your property. Did you sell it yet? I'm like, no. And he ended up sending.
What area?
It was over on Denison. I think I mentioned that to you.
I have one on Denison.
Yeah. Because when I was trying to sell it, I think I mentioned it to you.
I don't have one. I manage one on Denison. Yeah.
But yeah, I ended up selling that one. He just signed the documents yesterday, and that was didn't have to put too much effort into that one. Is where I'm getting at. But
yeah.
I could imagine sometimes
some of them are easy. I mean, we just Chase's house that we sold, that one went under contract in a couple of days. The the one in Beltsville that I just did went under contract in a couple of days. But the wholesaling, like, we can't really put it up on the MLS. Like, I feel weird putting some of these up on the MLS.
Oh yeah. There's like a gray area there. I don't know all the rules and regulations as far as doing that, but
yeah. So I guess speaking of gray areas and real estate sales, we have some announcement to make about my partnership with Diana DK Law, who also owns Lux Realty, who we partnered now. I own half of Lux Realty with her, so we're going to be building out a brokerage. Chase is kind of our number one agent that's going to be helping me facilitate building out the team and stuff. So that's some exciting stuff, and just another thing that I didn't need to take on that I decided to take on. So any agents that are looking to come over, we have competitive splits, and we're really investor based. Like we have retail stuff that we're doing, but like I really want all of the agents that we're working with to be investors. Like that's my goal anyway, because it's easier for me to then place them with investor buyers and investor sellers because they speak the language, they know, and with that comes definitely there's a lot of competition, I feel like, in the investor realtor space. But we have like so many things under our roof with the contracting, with the property management, that I feel like we kind of separate from the rest of them.
100%. There's not that many agents that have as much knowledge as you do and as I do in terms of like real estate investing.
Right.
When I first started in real estate and became an agent, I knew nothing about real estate investing. But like you would look at other agents before I became a realtor and think like, oh, if you're a real estate agent, you have to know something about real estate investing. But that's not the case.
I heard, this was on a TikTok, so could be completely false. Maybe, Chase, can you look this up? How many realtors in this country own their own house, right? There's a small percentage. Mm-hmm. It's a small percent, way smaller than you think. And then the other one in that same video was how many realtors own an investment property. So it was like it was at least a half of the people that owned one property that owned an actual investment property. Mm-hmm. So like, I don't know, it's like less than 10% of agents actually have an investment property of their own. Yeah. Which is a staggering number. You'd think if you're selling real estate for a living, you think more people would actually start buying real estate. But I also think that goes to show you how many agents out there that don't actually do anything.
Yeah. I guess, how many agents are out there who just rent and don't own, but then they're out there selling houses.
Yeah. And then to me, that's kind of like BS, right? Like and I'm sorry for any agents that I know that are renting right now, but like if you've never even walked through the process yourself, like it's kind of hard for me to believe that you're going to help me walk through the process.
I feel like you can only learn so much by hearing and there's a different level of experience that you gain when you actually do it yourself. So
Yeah.
if you don't own a house and you are walking people through that process.
Yeah. It's funny, like when you hear this, I talk to so many agents, and some of them that will call me, they're like, hey, I have this deal. One of them, dude, listen, this is funny. I'm not going to say names, but an agent called me the other day saying they have a house in Fells Point. It's fully renovated. He can't sell it because they forgot, the investors forgot to put HVAC in. So there's no ductwork, there's no furnace, there's no nothing. So I was like, how can you build a whole, like it's a brand new renovation, like white shaker cabinets, like the whole nine.
That's so crazy.
But there's no ductwork, there's nothing. There's nothing.
A huge thing to forget.
It's
I see people
one of the
like
3 main trades.
Yeah, I mean that's
It's
very
one of-
important. Some things that happened to me, I think at least once, was like we forgot to put maybe a closet in a bedroom. But like to forget you're one of the trades like that, that's insane.
So I was like, well, in my head, I was like, there's no way that you pulled permits. There's no way that they pulled permits on that property if they. There's no inspectors that would just pass rough-ins without, like, how do you get past? You can't do that. So, yeah, they're stuck with this property now, and like I actually tried to get it off market, like kind of an off market deal, because I can go put the HVAC in and ductwork and everything pretty cheap, but they wanted like this agent wanted like a ridiculous number for it, and he was like, oh, well, you know, it's only going to cost like $6,000 or $7,000 to put. I'm like, in what world are you doing brand new ductwork, brand new furnace,
Framing,
central air, framing,
drywall,
bulkheads,
painting it.
drywall, bulkheads, everything? There's no way.
Yeah.
You're at $20,000. And if you're retail, you're probably at $20,000, right? Minimum. So I thought that was just like another. It's just so funny, like an agent like. That was walking them through this whole like investment process. They just forgot to put an HVAC system in.
That is pretty crazy.
That is pretty crazy. So one thing that I did want to plug though, we have been still using Faisal's list at Pinpoint Skip. So those lists are really good. So if you're looking for lists, go to pinpointskip.com. And get whatever list. There's so many different lists. So if you're like an agent, that's the one I was poking through the website the other day. If you're an agent and you're just looking for leads to potentially buy, or to potentially get listings, like you can filter through the list to like generate that stuff that, you know, is maybe not like needs complete rehab. It's just needs a listing agent that might, you know, do a better job or whatever. So all that data stuff, man, it's really, really cool. So go to pinpointskip.com and get your data. So what you got? You got some numbers?
Yeah, I couldn't find anything good. But from 2007 to I think it was 2012, 80% of agents own their own home. So
I saw some fake TikTok.
Yeah, that
news.
seems like a lot because you know how many agents are like not really in the business after a couple years or so.
Yeah, what's the rate of
high.
agents that like don't? Well, that's a cool that timeline too is like 2007, like subprime mortgage was happening, like everybody.
So that's probably a good reason,
Yeah.
of why everyone owned a home. Well, most of them.
What did you just Google it?
Yeah, there was no like good data on it that I could find really quick.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I just saw some fake news, but it was like they said wherever I heard it, that it was like less than 10% owned in investment property, which I thought was really interesting. Anyway, to backtrack to our brokerage and our real estate team, we are trying to focus on having investor-friendly agents, investor-based agents, people that are investors themselves. And I'm trying to spread out. Like I got this girl down in Potomac that's going to start with us. And I feel like having like the whole, like all the different counties and stuff is some of these leads come in and they're far away. It would be nice to have somebody on the Eastern Shore, somebody on Montgomery County, somebody out in Western Maryland, Frederick, whatever. So agents looking to come on, definitely give us a call. Yeah, so any agents looking to come on, I think we had a little pause here, so I'm sorry I lost my train of thought. Maybe Nick, you'll be leaving KW soon and coming over to Lux.
Maybe.
Get you a
Are you
better
guys
deal.
like, I know you said the office is in Owings Mills. Is that the office for like all of All
So-
of the businesses.
So there's an office in Owings Mills, and then we have an office in Highlandtown, Canton. And I mean, offices are like cool, but they're just like obsolete too at the same time for most people. But anybody's welcome. Like sometimes we go up to our office and work. Sometimes we work down here. Like
Dinah also has Regis, which is like they have a couple of offices in Baltimore that you could just go and hang out. She has like a membership.
Yeah. No, I was just curious. I mean, yeah, like you said, I haven't been to the KW
didn't know
office
that.
in years. So yeah, I mean, a lot of people work from home or
yeah, I
home
mean,
office.
the only reason I like to go into the office because I have a nice printer and a scanner there that like work really well, and it's less distracting sometimes, especially during this construction process at my house. That's another thing, dude. I got to show you these lights. I'm so excited about these. Philips Hue smart lights. Philips Hue needs to sponsor the podcast after this because, dude, you got to get smart lights. It's the coolest thing ever. So like, I can change the scene of my house. Like the outside, I did exterior like strip lights, but they're like kind of hidden. And then you can light them up and make it Christmas themed and all sorts of stuff. My bedroom, I can press like one button and all the lights turn like red and pink for like like a romance setting, or like you could do like it's too cool. So Philips Hue, you need to sponsor the podcast, and whoever's out there listening, if you want to spend way too much money on lights, buy Philips Hue.
I'm still trying to figure out how to get my lights that go all around my property to turn on. So I got to figure that out first before I start adding more.
Dude, I saw the actually one of my friends, he had some of these like smart lights in his house, and like you'd walk and there'd be like motion sensors and the lights would turn on and turn off as you let. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then he was like, yeah, then you can automate them to turn on and turn off at certain times. So like we have it like where you can turn on like the sun will like wake you up, so it'll like turn on like really dim and then get brighter and brighter and brighter. And
Okay, like the sun's rising.
Yeah, and then we got I ordered a automated blind for the front window.
I need one of those. I've actually been searching the last couple of days, so you gotta let me know where you get those from.
Yeah, so for the one window in the front, guess how much? Stupid amount of money.
$800?
$6,000.
$6,000
for one window.
Wow.
Yeah.
I guess I was probably looking at something cheap because something did pop up on my phone. I don't know because if it heard me talking about it, and it was like $300 for like a regular sized blind that came down remotely.
So this is it's a Hunter Douglas. It's called a Silhouette, where it has like, it looks like a regular blind, but then it also has an option to have a shade internally, and then it also has a blackout option. But it's all automated, so the same thing. You can it'll raise at like 6 a.m. It'll just come up automatically.
Gotcha.
Paige and I always fight about
What color is it?
blinds being up or down. You can get them in whatever color. I think the fabric's white, and the blinds are white, and then the
Gotcha.
fabric's white, and then there's like a blackout thing that comes over. That
Okay.
just like comes
so
out.
like
of
it comes down in addition to the blinds that are
if
there.
you want it. So there's like 3 different settings. It's called the Silhouette, Hunter Douglas Silhouette. But it's funny because so we measured that window 126 inches. I didn't know I was getting this blind system before. I kind of knew, but I didn't get it quoted. The blinds, the smart blinds, the ones that I'm getting, only come up to 120 inches. So I had to get 3 panels of blinds. So if I would have just framed the window 6 inches smaller, it would have been $2,700. It would half, like less than half. But because I need 3 separate systems, it's like it's $5,800 and change or something like that for one stupid window.
How did you find that place, or did you like shop around multiple different?
No,
blinds?
so I probably should shop it around just because that number is crazy. But the one of my old employees and friends, Tatiana, her family owns that company.
Okay.
So they do all sorts of high end blinds, shutters, shades, drapes, interior design, that kind of stuff.
So you just send them the measurements, and they kind of send you something of like what
They came out.
Oh,
They
they
had
came out?
samples, they come out, they measure it, they have samples, they could give you an estimate basically right there on the spot.
Nice.
It's a cool process, but
yeah, I'll definitely have to call them.
it's definitely a way. I was like ready for like $1,500 to even like 2,000. I was like,
Yeah.
And I saw that bill, I was like, shit. And then I really had no choice. Like I already ordered the window. The window's in being made, so like I couldn't so I either had to cancel the window, which was another, couple $1,000, or just bite the bullet and do this shit. So, yeah, it's fun, dude. With certain things like that, not planning ahead when you're building like high-end additions.
Yeah, I guess that's because it's like not really something you think about, right? You're thinking about everything else besides your blinds.
I had the paint color picked out before I thought about the blinds, and I just always thought, I was like, oh well, they'll just make it to whatever size
to fit the window.
Yeah. And nope, 120 inches, 6 inches off. So shitty. But
so then, do they have to cut one cut one to get that extra 6 inches, or are you just putting?
No. So like the way the window is, it's 2 casement windows on either side, and then a picture frame in the middle. Mm-hmm. So it's whatever 120 divided by 3 is equal.
40.
So each pane has its own one, but then you just automate them to go up and down together.
Got it.
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass, but it's good. It's good. All right. Anything else that we have before we wrap this baby up? I know we got some more guests. I have some more guests lined up. Unfortunately, I've been so busy, and then my house is kind of just getting put back together. So
yeah, they sounded like they were still working upstairs when I got here.
Yeah, they were.
The window was open.
I know. I guess they need that for air and light.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll be back grinding with some new guests coming soon. I got some cool people lined up to come on. Anything else you have for us, Nick?
I guess are you having anything under contract to buy? Are you doing any flips right now?
So we have this 3-unit under contract that I think I'm probably going to end up taking down. We have a flip that's selling on Thursday. Yep. Thursday, I hope. And I'm closing up a rental right now. I actually got 3 houses under contract. Remember I was telling you about that like state program that we bought these houses from? We're still under contract. That other one that I sent you in Bel Air Edison. Remember I sent you one in Bel Air Edison? I was like, hey, is this a good area in Bel Air Edison? Did I send you that the other day? I think I did. And I was like,
possibly.
What? I forget the address. But anyway, they had a buy or fail, and it's like a Bel Air Edison, like 3-bed, 2-bath for like $40K or $45K.
Oh, that's a good deal.
So I was like, yeah, I'm going to take that down too. So the buyer failed on that. But we've been under contract since before COVID on these houses. So like the 2 that I have, one's on Baltimore Street, which a shell right now is $175, $180. We're under contract for $99,000. And then there's another one just on the other side of 40. I forget what street it's on, but we're under contract on that, and that's like $50,000. But it's basically renovated. It just needs like paint and whatever. So we'll be all in it for like probably $65K, and it's gonna rent for $1,500 in Section 8. So we got 3 of those houses under contract, but who knows when they're gonna close. And Chase has been looking every single day. We've been looking, man, trying to buy some more properties.
We got Streeper under contract too.
Oh yeah, we did buy. Well, that's for a client, but we're under contract on a rental for a New York buyer that's trying to get into the game. So we're working as much as we can. I mean, we did get it below asking on that one, right?
Yeah.
So things are starting to soften up, I think, a little bit in certain areas, but that won't be good for him. I mean, it's definitely over 10% cash on cash return, and in this market, I feel like that's all you can really ask for.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, high interest rates, prices are still pretty high. And
if you need somewhere to park your money, it's a good place to park your money in some of these rental properties. But you just got to hold out until the rates drop, and hope in the next couple of years they go down to 4 or 5%, where you can, buy back a couple points and.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully this year they do that. I seen this probably has nothing to do with it, but like even I see a lot of posts on like Facebook and other social media platforms of the crypto, how that's going up. I'm trying to like not look at that because I just want to just keep focusing on real estate. Last time I got involved in that, it was good for the time being, and then it wasn't good.
I'm pretty big, not big, but like I do invest in stocks a bunch, and I have crypto, and we buy I buy $100 of Bitcoin every week. It's on auto buy for the last, I don't know, probably 2 years, and I don't look at it. Like I signed in the other day because it was going crazy, and I was like, oh, let me see how much I have. But that I try not to dump too much into at all. But what I will tell you about women's tennis, dude, actually men's tennis too. I was showing Chase. I've been crushing it betting on women's tennis. Now
Really?
this is not investment advice. please, anybody that's listening, this is kind of embarrassing, actually. So, tennis happens like all day and all night long, like in other countries. Like I'm betting on Chinese tennis players, Australian Open, like all these different things. So my strategy is I get like crazy odds where like the people are definitely going to win, right? Like they're like minus 3,000 odds. And like they're 2 sets or 3 sets in there and they've lost like most of the set. Where like in tennis, like at that point, like there's no way you're coming back. So I'll like parlay like 2 or 3 of these like minus 1,000, minus 2,000 odds and just run my account up. And like tennis matches are pretty quick, so you could do it. So I'll parlay like 3 of them. I was showing him, dude, I made like $1,000 in the last 2 days. Just
Nice.
And like very little losses because like I'm betting on like almost guaranteed winners. But like if you bet like $100, if you bet on just the one, you'd bet 100 and you'd win like $3.
Yeah.
Like it would be crazy. But when you do like 2 or 3 of them together and you know for sure they're definitely gonna win. And if you are if you're out there listening, don't do this. I don't know if it's good or not, but it's working for now.
It's working right now.
It's working right now.
It's working. It works until it doesn't.
I've been making pretty steady money and like losing very little. And then like after I get to 1,000, what I've been doing, and when my account gets to 1,000, because then this is what happened the other day. This is crazy. This is so stupid. So I had a big one. It was like $500 or so, right? And it was 3 out of 4 of them already won, and I need this 4th one to win, and they were winning the entire time. I don't know what country it was in. I forget. There was a rain delay, right? So they didn't come back till the next day, and then the girl lost.
Damn.
The next day, and I was, dude. It said like on the FanDuel thing. It said like I forget what it said, postponed or whatever. I'm literally Googling like foreign countries tennis players to find out what's happening with this game. I can't find it on YouTube. Like I'm trying to figure out what's happening with this freaking tennis match. I probably spent 30 minutes like searching for this fucking tennis
That is
match.
funny because it's probably hard since it's in another country to find it.
Nobody knows of this person in Korea playing tennis, and like that the idiot that I am betting on it. Anyway, she came back and lost, so that was like I lost like $500 or whatever, and then I was like, okay, I'm not gonna do that again. So now every time that the account goes over 1,000, I pull out 500 and put it back in my bank account. But I've been running it up, dude. I've been running it up. It's fun,
Dude. My father-in-law was telling me the place he plays poker at, you can bet on pickleball now. Like just random people playing pickleball outside his.
There's this is getting into more than I want to admit, but dude. I could bet on ping pong right now.
Yeah.
Literally, like FanDuel is crazy. And I had to put it away for a little while because I saw myself getting a little bit too out of control. And let me pull up some crazy shit that you can bet on right now because it's fun.
Well, you know, like the prop bets during like the Super Bowl, like if somebody would run out onto the field.
Yeah.
There was like an article that kept like, coming back up from like somebody from, I think it was a couple Super Bowls ago. And like he put down like I forget what it was, like 50,000 or 100,000 and won like 400,000.
I can bet on
because he's
the one who did it.
Yeah.
See, look, here you go. Brazil men's volleyball in Brazil. This is one team is negative 1,200. Like they're let's see, you can watch the stream. They're negative 1,200. They're definitely going to win. Like they're almost guaranteed to win. So like if I put $250, I only win $20. But if you think about it, $20 by $250, it's an 8% return. That volleyball game's gonna be over in 20 minutes, dude. I can make 8% in 20 minutes. Like
It's not a bad return.
it's not a bad return, right?
That's true.
But it's still gambling, and you shouldn't do it. And people get addicted to it. I think I might be slightly getting addicted to it, so I have to slow down.
You have to provide him with the helpline.
But like, yeah. Well, no, you know when I know it's a problem because I watch the stream sometimes when I'm in bed at night. And or in the morning, like early, I wake up, and then FanDuel will say like reality check. It'll come up with a thing. It'll say reality check. You've been on this app for like X amount of minutes and whatever. Like
That's
you
funny.
should probably put it away and talk to somebody with help. But just bet responsibly. I'm betting a couple $100 in the grand scheme of things. I'm not betting my house and my wedding ring. But it is fun, man. Like. It sucks that Maryland legalized that sports betting thing because it is another stupid thing that you do with your money. But just like the poker games we go and play.
Yeah, I mean that's fun because it's networking and you get to socialize a little bit with people there.
But there I'm guaranteed to lose. At least I'm winning here.
Yeah,
Like every time I go play poker with these guys, I get fucking crushed.
Are you going on the 9th?
This weekend? No, I'm in Florida. I did commit, and then I booked a trip to going back down to Florida.
Gotcha.
I have one more month with my boat down there, so I'm trying to hammer it and then get back here for the summer.
Nice.
All right. That's all I got today, guys. Thanks, Chase, for filling in.
Thank you.
Talk to you guys next time.
April 11th. We'll see you guys at our event at CVP in Towson.
Like and subscribe to the podcast and all the different platforms, Instagram and all that stuff. Thanks, guys.